Ah,
I think we're on. Amber says hi from Seattle. Well, that's
ah,
pretty convenient, Amber. From Seattle. Hey, girl. All right. Angela says hi.
trying to pull this down. I have the screen up and I'm like, I gotta read the chat. It's messing me up.
I'm so thankful that we can actually see the chat now. That's awesome. I have a feeling that's Amy. Or Washington.
I think so. Yes.
So, howdy, Michelle. All right, so we'll jump right in, you guys. This is actually going to be probably kind of quick. Let's see. Chats going on that are popping up all over the place. Probably kind of quick. So anyways, we just want to hop on. You know, it's been a crazy week. I moved, and then right away we had the mastermind. We did a merch mastermind out here in Detroit, and it was very small. And it was awesome to have people that were able to come out and join us. Some people could not, of course. You can't just get away and come out on a Friday. But it was amazing. So I will not list everybody that was there because it's kind of a little secret thing. But we'll chat about as much as I can chat about. I think it'll be very helpful and insightful. And yeah, I see the new Office. Yeah, hilarious, Matt. Do you see this disaster? Does everybody see this disaster? By next time,
Can't see it.
right? Oh dear Lord, it's insanity.
It's understandable. Moving is always insane.
It's getting there. It's getting there, and it's awesome. It's going to be amazing. John says, "Why is it so messy?" Seriously, dude. My husband just asked, "Why is it so messy?" Yeah. Okay. So moving on. So how was your week, Amy?
My week's been crazy. Basically just juggling my kids, and I don't even know where the week went. Like, it's Sunday. I don't even know how that happened. So it's been busy. You know, I'm really just trying to hustle hard on merch and things like that. And of course, I was not at the mastermind, so kind of bummed, but I want to hear as much about it as I can. But my week's just been crazy, just merch, and it's gone by so fast. So I'm excited for the new week, and yeah. So how about you? Talk about the crazy.
No, I love that feeling. Like I always, you know, being working for ourselves full time, I always love Mondays. I do. Like I feel like finally, like sometimes like it's the weekend and there's things that I can't do because other businesses are closed or whatever, and it drives me crazy because I just want to get stuff done. So I really do love Mondays, and so yeah. And then we had a mastermind where there was a total of 13 of us that got together, flying from all over the place, including Canada. So that was really awesome. And I guess we'll just talk a little bit about like what a mastermind is, because it's not just it doesn't have to just be something for merch necessarily. I think it's a very key part of anybody's, I don't even want to say life. I guess if there's things that I've had in my
maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's things that I've had in my life that weren't necessarily classified, or we didn't call them masterminds. But just that connection with other people with the same, you know, type of mindset. And when you do that, it kind of keeps you going. And just, you know, shooting for that next level, because I think that a lot of times there's so many people that might just not get it. And so, I mean, I guess if you're there, and the only thing that I can say is, fortunately, like for the past few years, we've really surrounded ourselves with people that get it. And so it's not that difficult for us anymore. But when I do meet up with people at different events and they're like, wow, this is so cool, because I don't have conversations with people like this. Like, it's just in their life, they don't have that. And so if that's you, like, I just want people to understand that it's imperative for you to figure out how to connect. Connect with other people that are like-minded, that are in the same, position as you, that, are working and striving to grow their business. And if somebody doesn't get it, it's okay. You have to be able to brush that off. Mm-hmm. And so it's just been a practice for us, for the past few years, to really ensure that we're getting around people that get it, that have that same mindset. And it makes a world of difference. I mean, is that something that you do? Is that something that you've started to do? Like, how do you do that?
Starting. I mean, I don't come from a big entrepreneurial background. So for me, like, merch is my first time really even sticking my toes in that water. So I understand the importance, and I've made some pretty cool relationships with other merchers and entrepreneurs online, but I haven't taken it to the next level. That is definitely in the plans, though, because I totally understand why that would be important and motivational and inspiring, and just, it's good to have your close circle to bounce ideas off of and build trust. And like we were talking a little bit before we went live, you never know what can come of that. So I haven't yet, as far as off of the internet, but I want to.
Well, and I have to say, like, I guarantee you there's plenty of other people that's just kind of a thing that's like, how am I sometimes that's just not people's comfort zone and whatever. And that's fine. I mean, I do encourage people to step out of the comfort zone, but at the same time, like, there's other aspects of it that come into play, whether it's cost or whatever. And so the baby steps into that. I would say maybe not even baby steps. I mean, it's very humble for you to say, I've not done that yet, but you truly have. Like, you've connected with the people that are succeeding in the community. And, you've been able to provide and you choose to provide and offer your expertise to the community. And that's a big thing, because that gives you, you're not in this by yourself.
That is true.
Regardless.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a huge aspect. So whether I would love, and I can't wait to meet you in person, but regardless, it's so funny because, like, I don't want to name the people that were there, but it's so funny because there was plenty of people that were there, superstar merchers, okay? And it's like you just walk up and we're having dinner the first night before anything happened. It was just like, hey, what's up? Like, fist bump, like that.
Yeah.
Because
you talk really to them every day. Like, you do.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool. But I guess one of the things that I want to convey to Bo, no, you know why you don't get a shout out, Bo? Because you didn't come. That's why. Bo is freaking amazing. If nobody, now I'm going to shout him out. That's what he gets, because he puts that comment on. So Bo has to get a shout out because, yeah, you were discussed at the mastermind. We're not telling you our secrets. Not that we have to tell him. He doesn't need any of our secrets.
I was about to say, we need his secrets.
I know, right? Gosh darn it. But no, he's a super cool guy and just crushing it and grinding it out. And but anyways, so yes, Bo, you get a freaking shout out, even though you didn't come to Michigan. And so he did. It's funny though, because we were talking about how we went to Colorado for the Rocky Mountain Resellers Conference, and it was out in Denver, and Bo was out in Colorado. And initially we were like, okay, well, he didn't come to the conference, but it was like, if he doesn't show up, he's not a real person. And then I'm like, that's just it. I'm declaring it. And then it was funny. It was the same thing with Amy, because Amy, sadly, she was kind of sick. She was a little under the weather. And initially she wasn't totally sure she could make it. I was like, listen, like, you have us buy this big 100,000 tier. I'm like, if she doesn't show up, she's not real either.
Yeah, we're all being catfished. Like, okay, who are you? I bet Triple G Maps.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Totally joking. So, I don't think she's Triple G Maps, y'all. Just kidding.
She's not. I don't think she's Triple G Maps either. But anyway.
But if she is, good job.
Right? So, let's talk a little bit about, the mastermind. So this was something that was pretty low key. And at the same time, it definitely was invite only, and not to exclude people, but it's because it's a mastermind. We go to a lot of conferences. And when we go to the conferences, whether it's online or merch or whatever, the information that is shared is relatively basic, and it has to be. It has to be because it has to apply to the entire audience. And so when we went to this, I was like, we're not talking about any basics. And we're not really talking about anything that is pertains to keywords or design or whatever. Like we just need to figure out some of the things to take us to that next level. But in order to go to that next level, you have to have a proper foundation. So that's what it was. It wasn't trying to, like I said, it wasn't trying to exclude anybody. It was just, trying to dig deep into the other aspects of business in general. And so that was one of the key points that was highlighted when everybody was going around sharing their background, sharing their expertise, regardless of tier or what they're doing with merch. It was clear that people were really, really focused on the big picture, the long-term vision. And it doesn't matter, merch or not. Like it could be, POD. Some people were working on different aspects of it. Some people were doing local merch. Some people
real quick, not to cut you off, but to kind of cut you off, especially for some of the people right now who are a little bit discouraged with things. How important is it to look at it long term, regardless of what you're doing?
100%. And that's one of the things that was tapped on, because I remember, and I think this is if you want to talk about getting an edge, the edge is that long-term vision, 100%. Just have it plain and simple, because it does not matter what business you're in. I remember when we first started and we were doing books and CDs and DVDs and whatever, we were reselling, media. And it really took me about 3 years to grasp the sales cycle of the year. And I would get anxiety, because this is how I can look at every single year. It doesn't matter if our sales were growing. You could see the same trends throughout the entire year. And so there's like 3 key parts of the year where sales dip inevitably. So once I learned that, I just expected it, and it didn't affect how I ran my business. And I think that gives me the edge, because I don't get affected by the shitty sales. Like I look at it and I'm like, I wasn't even in to know what sales were last year. So if you think that 1 month, oh my gosh, I had great sales this month and then they tanked. Well, I mean, analyze a little bit of why. Like retail, do you understand that some people do 60 to 80%? If you want to study retail, some people do 60 to 80% of their entire annual sales in Q4.
Yeah. I believe that.
So right now we're not in Q4, my friends. And January, we were not in Q4. You might have hit a little bit in St. Patrick's Day. You might have, and so I get that, like, it could, I mean, if this is like, it's going to have to be a long-term play, and it's worth it to have that long-term vision.
Now, what should we do when we're noticing that, our sales are not as hot as they were in November? Because I know for a lot of people, July has been a tough one. What do?
You don't look at the sales. I mean, the whole thing is like, if you're preparing for something else, like if you're preparing for Q4 or whatever, like what your sales should not dictate your actions.
I love that. I agree.
They shouldn't, because you don't, there's so many different outliers. It's funny because when I went to college, I went for advertising and marketing and public relations. And the marketing, I hated my marketing classes, because there's so many different outliers that impact whether something's successful or not. And you could think that, oh, for sure, the reason why this ad didn't work, or the reason why this campaign didn't work was because of this, but it could have been because of your demographics. It could have been because of the time of the year. It could have been, there's all these different things to take into accountability. So without historical data, which I'm sorry, like them starting in 2015, I mean, everything's going to be changing constantly. That's just Amazon.
Yeah.
So,
and there's really not a lot of long-term data to even really look at. Not yet.
No,
I don't think.
There's not at all. There's not. And that does not mean that you don't try to get better. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is just getting discouraged. I mean, there needs to be a little bit of a realistic timeline before you decide to give up. So
I agree.
And I mean, I don't think that you should always just be like, going hard and just be blind, but you need to do that for a little while. Like for me, honestly, like I don't care about my sales at the moment. They're disappointing, but I will not focus on that because there's a lot of different factors. I don't know necessarily what's going on, and I'm going to push hard all through Q4. And we had a tremendous, Q4 last year when we were just in the business for about 4 months. And if that doesn't happen, if we the blinders on and we go hard, and I will reevaluate my time and my effort and whatever, I totally will. But at this point, it's too young. Like there's no reason not to. Like last year, I mean, I couldn't imagine. Like I just was like going really, really hard, and we had a great December. So I'm thinking that, you know what, I'm about to, everybody's July numbers are down. Everybody. I'm talking about even people that are killing it.
Which is something that I'm actually encouraged by that because, I'm there in the same boat. Yeah. And that's encouraging to me because I know this is temporary and it's across the board. So it's not that all of a sudden my designs are terrible. It's just this is where we are. We're in summer. People are traveling, vacationing, kids are out of school, they're focusing on different things. It's not really a buyer's market right now. But the Q4 goggles are for real. Like I have those on. I am very excited about Q4, but I'm also trying not to have the expectations either that Q4 is going to just blow up and my numbers are going to be absolutely astronomical and I'm just going to be rolling in the money. It'll be great if that happens, but I don't want to set myself up.
Put your actions, what's the worst that can happen? Like that's where I'm at. Like I'm going to put my actions that, yes, if I built my portfolio as max it out as hard as you can, focus on maxing it out and building your portfolio as big as you can, because that's what I did last season. And what's the worst that's going to happen there? Like, I mean,
it doesn't
the
sell.
only thing is you have to be able to. What'd you say?
I said it doesn't sell and you go on. Yeah, I mean, you can't lose. I don't think you can lose. Maybe a little bit of time, but.
If you sit back and you're waiting to do something until you start getting sales, you're missing the boat because you could have had how much. I look at our catalog, our designs as a portfolio. And the more real estate, the more, designs that I have out there, the more potential that I'm going to have in Q4.
Absolutely.
And so at this point, because I'm not looking at any other specific thing, because sales are down. Truly, like I said, I've talked to a lot of different sellers and sales are down, and July is just not a fantastic time. So don't let that dictate your actions. Like get a head start. Like look at that, like, okay, well, other people are, discouraged. Not that I want people to be discouraged, but there's a lot of competition. So if other people are going to be discouraged by that, take massive action and get your designs up. Max out. Do whatever you can to build that portfolio so that once Q4 happens, you have, hopefully you guys have pop sockets. I think some people
are still waiting. It's like, oh man, that sucks.
Not that whatever, they sell, but we haven't been selling a crazy amount, but they do sell. But I think that's going to be, really good for Q4 as well. So just have a game plan, and you have to, one of the things that I was taught a long time ago is that you have to be activity focused. If you're activity focused, the results will follow. You cannot base your activity on the results because it's going to take too long.
Well, what is activity focused? Like how do you do that?
It means deciding, like for me personally, I will look and say, how many do I want to upload this week? How many designs do I want to get up? Like that's regardless of how much I sell. Mm-hmm. So the results don't matter. The money coming in. And yes, you want to evaluate that sometimes, but I feel like people evaluate it too quickly. I feel that they're like week to week.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And like really, you need to start living your business on a 90-day run. Do not reevaluate your business. You'll screw yourself up. Do not reevaluate your business outside of 90 days. Really. Because you need to stick with something. You can't just decide to like change here, change there, and try all these things because you're never going to have any data to work with to be like, did this work or did this not work? And really what it comes down to is this is a quote I learned as well, like mastering the mundane.
Ooh, I like
it's
that.
boring.
Yeah.
What what did you do in the beginning? Like there's a lot of people that are successful on here, and what did you do in the beginning, and now you're not focused on that anymore? Like, why don't you just go back? It's might be boring.
See, and that's almost where I'm at. I remember like when I first got into merch, I went so hard and it's paid off and I'm glad for that. But I have noticed that it's slowed down and that's my fault. I have nothing to blame that on except for myself. It's like I lost that hunger. I mean, it's still there, but it's not as intense. So
when you have like
I need to master the mundane.
Yeah, it is. That's really what it is. And those are the people that are going to win.
Yeah, I agree.
It really is. It really is. The people that can just be like, okay, I'm going to go and grab. And it might not be like, you might hit a cruel, like when we started, you know, it was right around August. Okay. So August, September, and we started. So August, it's whatever. We were selling shirts to like people that we knew, basically. I didn't do it organically. Like, it's funny, we were talking about that. And you have people that are like, oh my gosh, I've been stuck on tier 10 for, 4 months. Listen, I'm not trying to be hard here, but if you're stuck on tier 10 for 4 months, some people say buy your own shirts. I mean, you can do that if you want, like design for yourself. But here's what I did is I went and I contacted people that I knew that were local that had very small businesses that they never would ever decide to get t-shirts for themselves just because it doesn't make sense because you typically have to buy in bulk and whatever. So I had like personal trainer friends that, train in their home or went, they're not going to buy in bulk. They don't need multiple t-shirts, but they were all about, yes, I will buy 1 to 2 t-shirts. That's really all they bought too. I never hit anybody that was really,
it was really cool. I had a very similar beginning. There was, I adopted these 2 kittens from a friend's friend. And she found out that I was doing these shirts and she's like, oh, we're opening up this nonprofit breastfeeding coalition. Can you make us shirts? They gave me the design and everything. I just put it up there and it still sells today. And
that's awesome.
I walked right into that. It was pretty cool. And that's, that is a great opportunity to tear up. And then you're going to get the feedback like, oh, I'm not really happy, so I'm not going to buy anymore. So I agree, reach out to your friends. Christmas, Q4, design for your friends and your family. You know what they like. And I'm excited. I'm going to be taking that approach this year myself. So
it definitely made me nervous. Like in the beginning when I was really focused on that, because I knew that like organically, like I wasn't good. I didn't know the market. I didn't know, my designs were incredibly basic, which they don't have to be fantastic. Like for sure, you can have basic designs that'll sell. But at the same time, like you need to have space to figure it out. And you don't.
Yeah, and you need to grow. You don't want to stay where you are with your very first design. Because I look at my first ones and I'm just like, wow, people bought that.
Do whatever you can. Literally.
Always improve. Yeah. Always, I think it's important, especially talking about more competition. You have to be willing to adapt and improve where you can. It's important. And that's not just merch. I just think that's pretty much any avenue in life that you want to be successful at. You have to be willing to adapt, lay down the expectations because those will blind you and, always just kind of master the mundane. I'm going to Post-it note that like everywhere.
You got that? I got that. It's actually from the book The Slight Edge, which is funny. So that is
Slight Edge. All right, I'm writing that down too.
Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It's a killer book. It really is. Very similar to The Compound Effect. I had sent out some of those CDs to some people. But that's exactly what it is. And I think that people are always looking for the new best thing when it's not that. That's exactly, it's can be pretty freaking boring, Yay, Helen said great book. I'm glad that you read that. But yeah, it can be really boring, but it's figuring out what works and doing more of that. And if people already have sales, that's what you need to do. You need to, and James said he just did local merch. He sold 15 of a custom shirt designed with his daughter's cheerleading squad. That's the thing, you guys.
That's awesome. That is really cool.
For sure. Congrats, James. Like, that's one of the things that, like, I think it's going to be so imperative for people to start thinking outside the box, but don't get analysis paralysis. If you're going to do this, then you need to take action and just do it. Just start and weaving it in. Like, this isn't like tomorrow I need to get 10 local merch deals. It's like when I'm out having a conversation and it comes across my plate, just have that in your mind and your subconscious, because you might be able to take advantage of that. Like, you never know. Like you said, his daughter's cheerleading group or whatever. Like, I mean, you never know what conversation is going to come from that. And so somebody said, hey, Mike Wall. Yeah, like, I mean, I wish that he would even show. His numbers are insanity. Total insanity. And I'm not saying that's the way you have to go with it, because I think he has an incredible amount of talent when it comes to sales and connecting with people and figuring out what they need. And that is a totally different ballgame. So if you want to be able to do it, organically, that's fine, but it might take you a little bit longer, and it doesn't necessarily have to. Get a little bit of hustle, figure it out. We didn't do local merch very much. We just did it to tier up to, I think, whether it was 100 or 500. I can't remember what we really, did it. I stopped doing custom stuff once I hit tier 500. Like, so, because it's it can be a pain in the butt. It really can. So have you done custom stuff before with people like that, or?
A few people have reached out, like friends, like, hey, I would like to have this on a shirt and I'll put it up. But outside of the breastfeeding coalition person that I mean, it was cool. I didn't even know her. And she's like, hey, not really. I personally don't have a desire to go that route. Now, what's cool is that's obviously not my strength. I don't want to go up and be rejected or, whatever. It's just not my thing. And dealing with people, I don't like peopling like that.
I don't like people. I love you saying that, because that's the thing though. Like, you don't have to. And I love that, because I mentioned that we had some really good conversations this weekend, or this week, because we talked about that and how amazing it is, and the skills that Mike has, and some people that are taking that on. But I'm like, I can tell you right now, 95% minimum, 95% of people do not want to do that. I don't care how much money is attached to it. They don't want to.
Now, I kind of have an advantage, though, as far as the B2B. My husband, he has no problem going up to people and selling and all of that stuff. So we've talked, and it's like, it would take us to another level. I still don't have to deal with people. If you want to, go for it, So
I will.
Find somebody that, does want to do that, maybe, if that's a direction you need to go in. But then you are,
Point. That's a very good point. And I think that's something that it might be a little down the road for some people, but I want people to start thinking in that direction, because that is a super key point to what you just said. Like, you are not into peopling, and that's totally
no.
You know what?
I'm not against peopling. Like, there are certain places like I would love to people, but going up to businessmen and women and going like, hey, so I'm like doing this thing. Can I like make you a shirt? No, not me.
Right. And that's totally cool. And I think that, I mean, you don't have to be that way, like, at all. Like, obviously you have a successful merch business, but it does not mean that you can't recognize that there's opportunity there. And like you said, whether it's partnering with somebody, that is, because that's what you want in a partner. You want somebody that is opposite. You want somebody, and it's funny because we talked to some of the people that have partners when they're at the mastermind, and their business partners are totally opposite them.
I think that's important, because then you can build off of each other's strengths, because, the things that I'm good at, you're not, and the things that you're good at, I'm not. But if we combine the two, I mean, that's a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's huge. And I think that that's something, I mean, we're in the process to even like, yes, John and I are total opposites. And with our private label business, we're actually in the process to finding somebody, because we are not like really into, I guess I'm kind of systematized and structured, whatever, but like, I want somebody that wants to lead a team, wants to have like that structure with them, and truly, John and I, neither of us want to do that. We have so many other things within our business that we really enjoy, that's just not a piece of the puzzle that we want to do. So, that's kind of what when we're doing these different events or going to masterminds or whatever, we're connecting with people. It's not like we're like headhunting anybody, but we're listening, we're connecting. And I think that's one of the most, impactful parts when you physically go and sit and meet with people, because I've just never had a bad experience at any of these events. Like, I've just not. And everybody is just brings something amazing to the table. And so that's the thing. I hope that people are, there's something going on in Seattle, and there's going to be a big event in Seattle, and it's going to be end of September, and I don't have the exact information. I don't even think the tickets are released yet. But if people can get there, I encourage you to get there. And
now I have a question for you. How important is it to put yourself out there? And, you know, if the opportunity arises that you can go to a conference like that with like-minded people who are elbow to elbow doing this, like, how important is that, and why? Why is that important?
It's, you know, I really believe that every single event that we've attended, and it's funny because I've gotten questions like, I went to the License Expo and they're like, what do you expect to get out of it? Do you think it's going to be worth it? I've had so many people like, do you think it's going to be worth it? And I'm like, it
always,
hands down. You have to look at this. Like, this is whatever you're doing, it is a business. And if you connect with other people, absolutely, it will be worth it. It doesn't matter. Like, I went to the Licensing Expo. I learned some things about that. But the connections that I made with other people are just invaluable, because you know what? I mean, and vice versa, like, people that you think that you really don't have much to offer, you know, somebody, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, you've been doing this for X amount of years. Like, this is something that can really help. So, I just think that, okay, so I'm going to say how this started. John and I, last fall, we started going to events, and I don't even know why it took us this long. I just don't think it was in front of our face that much. Like, we weren't really connected to the community or the FBA community, which is our background. So we didn't really get connected to all the events until we you into merch. And once that happened, every single one, and it's a commitment. You're flying to a different state. You're taking time out of your life. You know, you're leaving your kids, you're spending money on a hotel, all these expenses that you're looking at as expenses. I can tell you right now that every single one of those has leapfrogged our business. And so we've been addicted to events ever since, because it was, I mean, we've been every other month we're going somewhere. And it's not even, it's not like we have money just to throw around. It's that you need to get around that to expand your mind, to look at your business in a different angle, to decide, you know, what's that next step, because merch is amazing, but there's a whole world out there, and you don't see it if you're living in your little bubble. And I think that being an online entrepreneur, you can live in your little bubble
very easily.
And you can do very well. And if you're happy,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I do want to encourage yourself. One, it might be a little bit awkward, but I'm telling you, there's so much fulfillment that comes from that. Like my husband, like I said, he went to last fall, he went to CES, which is an online resellers conference, and he connected with some really cool people, which now I'm going to China with that connection.
See, that's incredible.
Never. I mean, we've always talked about it. Like, yeah, China's a thing. We know it's good for our business, blah, blah, blah. The only reason we're going is because we found somebody. I'll say who it is because they probably appreciate it. His name's Tim Jordan. But we found somebody that we're going to be able to travel with, that's his specialty. We're going to have education. We're going to have guidance. And now we're going to be able to source product, you know, in that specific, you know, area. And it's something we've never done that before.
Now, have you found that there's a level to those relationships that brings a bit of accountability that kind of inspires in you, where you might have more easily been like, you know, maybe not this year, but because of that connection, it's like, no, it's happening this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are familiar with Cassie Basket. She's amazing. Total girl boss. Bossed her business with FBA and merch, and it's awesome. And we were actually at an event following that fall. her and one other girl, and we were sitting there and they were talking about this China trip. I'm like, China trip? And I was looking at it, I'm like, gosh, I'm like, one of us should probably go, huh? To my husband. And he's like, and Cassie's like, we should probably go, right? And I'm like, we should probably go. And like, if if there wasn't that, like, I don't know if she would have gone if her and then there was another girl, Kate, if we didn't all decide that there was like a pact. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, let's go. We don't know what's going to happen, but you know what? Like, let's go and make it happen type thing. And yes, the accountability is huge. And it's so cool because it's not like there's any benefit in either direction. And I just love this space because everybody's so encouraging, even in merch. Like, everybody's cheering each other on and encouraging each other. And it's special. And I think that I hope that people can grasp what we have available in this space, whether it's with Amazon or just online or e-com or whatever it is. It's a time to take it seriously and just really put all your effort into it, because don't be scared about it. There's so much potential here.
Now, why is that important, having the positive mindset with merch or FBA or, anything that the journey, the entrepreneurship, like, why is the mindset and the positivity important?
I honestly think it's funny. Amy Nicholas does, talks about, she does the POD Power Punch, and I connected with her, and she is all about mindset as well. And it's funny because I'm like, I could feel when she's talking, I'm like, oh, you're like my spirit animal. And like, you know what? it's a daily thing. Like, what you do when nobody's looking, like, that's the most important deal.
Well, that defines who you are. I honestly think, like, what you're doing when no one is watching, that is your character.
Absolutely. And it will show. Like, one of the things we talked about, there's a quote that John and I mention all the time. And if we get hit hard with something, or if we have some sort of success, it's always what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. And that's
absolutely.
Whether it's negative, that's Johnny Cash, but whether it's negative or whether it's positive, like, if you do something negative, you'll be exposed. But if you do something positive and nobody's looking, it sucks. It sucks because you know what
you want that pat on the back. I mean, you want that
golden
sticker.
You're early, you're grinding it hard, and you know what? You're not reaping the fruits yet. You know what? You have to have that faith that it's going to happen.
But how important is it to stay humble? We were kind of talking a little bit about that too before going live. Like, that's part of it. Not expecting that pat on the back and that golden sticker, even though you feel like you're so deserving, because you're up at 4 a.m. every day, you're hustling, you're kicking ass, you're taking names, you're helping the community. Nobody's noticing.
Yeah, I think they do, though. I think that, after you talk with some people, that you definitely do, you might not get the pat on the back all the time. And I don't, what I think too, is I think there's so many people that are doing it, and it's definitely not for that. Obviously it's good and it's motivating and whatever, but I found when we were talking, everybody did like their intro, talked about their strengths, this type of thing. There's something deeper that's driving them.
Mm-hmm. And there has to be, because you're not going to get the golden sticker every day. You're not.
Absolutely. And I think that that's what people need to figure out. And it could be cliche to say, what's your why? But that's truly what you have to figure out. If you're struggling with your motivation and your determination, like, you have to figure out what is your why. Why are you doing this? Because every day is not going to be a win, for sure. Week's not going to be a win. Not every month's not going to be a win. So you have to focus on that activity. You have to give yourself activity goals, and you have to be okay with that. And then, you know what? You will reap the benefits. And I can tell you right now, like I said, last season, I went really, really hard. Like, once I saw the potential, I went really, really hard and just trusted the process. Everybody's like, oh, it's Q4, it's Q4, it's Q4. And then Q4 hit, and it wasn't that awesome. And then we get into November, and it wasn't that awesome. Then it's like the first week in November, and everybody's like, Q4 is never happening. Like, people were like in uproar, and then all of a sudden, like, it was the end of November. So this is, I think, where we could probably even see a huge spike, was end of November and December. And I was like, wow. Like, and just because we didn't know any better, we were just like, I don't care, whatever. We're just going to focus on it and just keep pumping out designs and see what we can do and whatever. And it was really, really good. So if you just focus on, getting your uploads in and making good designs and, just continue to be focused on your activity, then you're going to see a great increase in Q4. That is my expectation. Am I going to tell you have, X times what your sales are? No. Like, that's, who knows what this market.
But like we were talking earlier, what kind of magic do you think could happen if you stopped going week by week, looking at your numbers, you did the 90 days evaluation, you stayed activity focused every single day, whether it's putting up 5 shirts or 10 shirts or whatever your activity focus is. You do that for 90 days. What kind of magic could happen, do you think? Would there be magic? Because I kind of think there would be.
There'd be huge. I mean, huge. Like I said, think about that too. Like, even if you do 90 days, let's say at a minimum 90 days, you're going to say, okay, 10 designs. Let's say 10 designs are going up in the next 9 days. That's 900 fresh designs. And like, some people are watching this, they're like, okay, well, I don't even have 900 slots right now, or 900 slots open. Like,
put them in drafts, honey. Put them in the drafts. Exactly. The drafts are there.
Exactly. But that's
because you'll get them.
For sure. Like, that's your capacity. And like, so if your capacity is there, like, just continue to, you'll get a higher capacity, and you will have the sales are going to start to spike. So then you're not going to just put 10 up. You're going to want to put more up. It just naturally happens, but give yourself a minimum and you will reap the benefits. You just really will. Are they going to be as high as they were? I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows.
I don't think anybody knows that, No,
but that's what you just have to focus on the activity. So, but I mean,
so I kind of want to challenge like everybody watching this, whether you're like new to merch or you've been doing this for 3 years or whatever, give yourself 90 days. Don't focus on the numbers, daily, weekly, monthly. Don't get all into that.
Yeah.
Make a goal every day, stay activity focused, and see what happens.
We're going to do this.
That's challenge.
Whether it's me or you, I think one of the other, because we have amazing mods and admins for this group.
Oh my goodness, we have the best. Sorry, we really do.
I'm gonna put this on somebody in our group. So somebody in our group is gonna make a 90-day run document. It's gonna be very simple. It's not gonna be anything crazy, but you are gonna physically write down your activity goal. That's it. Not your sales goal. And then
there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong limit. Like, even if it's one shirt, like, that's all you can really dedicate is one shirt, or 30 minutes of research a day, whatever. So
absolutely. And I think so we'll do that, and so that you can write it down. And this is the coolest thing. That's the only way that you can take audit of your business. It's the only way that you can look back and adjust, and there's a thing, it's called plan, do, check, adjust. So we're going to plan, you're going to do the activity, because you're not basing anything on your results. You're going to say, I commit to this level of activity. I know that I can do, 1 design, 5 designs, 10 designs, however many you can do per day. Just stay consistent. If you do that.
And that just reminds me, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like Amy Herberger, hello, 100,000 tier. Her number one advice to everybody in merch, don't overthink it. This is a great opportunity to train yourself not to overthink it. I love it.
Yep. So we'll have it so where you can actually check off the days, because that's subconsciously, that's a feeling of satisfaction. Like, if you can say, yes, I've done my, designs every single day, because right now everybody has a very high level to max out, if whatever your daily uploads. But if you just decide to say, some people have, like, I guess the max is 500. So we have 500 that we can upload a day, which is just silly. The quality, we can't do 500 a day. Our quality would not be very, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? If I decided to say, hey, I'm going to do 25 or 30 a day. We have a designer that I'm working with. So if I did that and pumped out like X amount, whatever, per day, then that would be so much better than me just doing whatever the heck I want. Because I'm going to be truthful with people. Like, I've not been very structured. We've had a lot going on. I've not been very structured, and I need to be. And I think that right now is the time to start taking it seriously. And I had an amazing talk. Again, I'm not going to call out his name, but I had an amazing talk with a guy that came to the mastermind, and he's super duper structured. And he's actually on here. I won't say who he is because his inbox blows up all the time, but he's super duper structured within his life, within his businesses. And I know that that's a point that we've dabbled in a little bit, but we've not been like consistent for a long period of time. And that's exactly what it takes. Because
it does. You got to build the habit.
You have to build the habit. And again, it can get boring, but right now is that time. I mean, we're looking at July, and I'm telling you, you do that right now, you're going to set yourself up for a sweet, sweet, sweet Q4. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be having amazing
live. Q4 is pretty much going to be an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, and it should be. It should be. That does need to be our motivation for sure. Again, you know what? In retail, some products, some whatever, it's 60 to 80% of their entire yearly like sales. So just think about that. And now we have shirts, t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, pop sockets, like all these things that people are going to be able to buy, and they are just mad. They just buy stuff like crazy. So,
and Amazon's hot. Q4, everybody's on Amazon.
So mad. Okay, well, I want to hear about freaking Prime Day. Okay, anybody get it? Because I'm pretty mad about this. There was a couple things I wanted to. Every single one, stupid to the dogs. Then I had errors that were not, I've never even seen these errors before. Did you get anything good?
I got a Fire Stick. I got the new Fire Stick, but I didn't get it until literally 1 o'clock in the morning the following day. I was trying to get on like all day long. What was it, 12 o'clock or something? I don't know. I log in, I'm all excited, and I get this page, and I can't do anything. And I'm just like, okay. So then I click other links, and all of a sudden I saw all these adorable little dogs, and I'm just like, you're not supposed to be there.
Right?
It was not pretty. And,
we had somebody that said, it's so funny because I was listening to a radio station, okay? I was listening to a radio station out here, and they were talking about Prime Day and how all of the different things were going to the dogs, and they're like, is that supposed to make the blow like a little softer because you have cute dogs that, tell us we can't buy our stuff?
They are cute. They're like, oh, those little good boys. Oh, I just want to bonk them on the head.
Oh my God.
I love puppies.
Oh, so. I do too, but still, I mean, I guess it does take the edge.
I know, after a while though, it's like, shoo,
no.
Go lay down.
Right? Oh, I just want to buy myself. So I just want to say, Jeremy V says long sleeves started selling again for them. So here's the thing, like, we've been really focused on standards for the most part.
Me too. I've changed my tune.
Yeah, we've been throwing up. We will throw up premiums because I do remember Cassie at Basket did say it was 2016, I think. Something happened to where whether they were throttling, I don't know. But standards, she wasn't selling as many standards. She was selling way more premiums, and she was selling a ton of them because she had a lot of premiums up. So regardless, you don't know what's going to happen in Q4 with the freeze or whatever. And we did do well last season with long sleeves. It was, gosh, we didn't even have them for that long. And we put them on there, and they were a decent chunk in December. We had some good long sleeve. I think that Amy Herberger said that she had a good run with long sleeves as well. So I think that now is the time, since we do have a lot of uploads, what I'm going to suggest is, yes, definitely focus on your new designs and fresh designs for, what's coming up. But, don't neglect the long sleeves, the hoodies, that type of thing, because I think that it's going to be really interesting to see what people buy for Christmas.
I agree. See, I've changed my tune because I was just going strictly standards. And then, of course, I got the pop sockets, and those have been doing well. So then I went crazy there. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I am not doing myself any good if I'm not loading. Obviously, if you have the slots. I mean, if you're a new tier, you focus on the standards. But if you have the slots to fill, put that up on the premium and the long sleeve and the sweatshirts and the hoodies. Because, I mean, we have 180 days.
Yep.
Christmas is coming. It's pure Prime potential right now. So I've changed my tune because I was only doing standards. But
yeah, no. Totally. Yeah, you need that feedback in the market to figure out what does sell. And I mean, could you imagine if you're hitting well with long sleeves or hoodies or whatever at that point?
Well,
that's the only way to know.
Just so Christmas designs, long sleeves. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's brilliant. My Christmas designs last year did meh.
Matt just said to you, Anas, do you stop designing once you fill your slots? LOL. I would probably be able to answer for him. Let's see. I was gonna say probably not, because he just continues to go. And same thing, he says no. Production never stops, Matt. Huh. Yeah, they do not mess around. Like, and that's
activity focused, and
yeah,
that's why they're succeeding in this space.
exactly. And those are prime. I mean, you guys, those are top people in this space. Like, they know what they're doing, and they're still hitting it hard. So let me see, what else do we have?
Wow, Max Strickler sold 500 long sleeves in December 17. That is crazy.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Very cool. That's big.
Oh, Matt Carlett, over 1,300 long sleeves sold in November and December. Yeah, if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And thank you guys for sharing, because that's those are big tips, you guys. And like I said, I don't like
glitter bombs. Sorry, yeah. I've been wanting to use that all day.
And like Amy said, like, you guys, if you don't have the slots, you know what? Truly, I would definitely stick with standard. But that means that's why you hustle to get to tier up. Hustle your ass off. Go. I don't care if you have to, tell your cousin to buy a shirt or whatever.
Well, I can even sit there and let you guys know I had a pretty good Q4, and I started my first month in merch was June of last year, and I went at it hard. I was in the low tiers. I climbed. I did everything that I could do to get myself ready for Q4, and it blew my mind. I was shocked at what Q4 looked like for me. I believe I was in the 1,000 tier. I think I just got into the 1,000 tier.
That's so funny. Yeah, so are we.
So I mean,
we're like 20 per day. We can upload 20 a day. Like, let's go.
I almost kind of miss seeing like the 20 and the 40, because that seems so attainable. And now it's like 400 and 500. And you're just like, that's not happening.
That's the thing, though. That's where the activity mindset comes in. And I'm telling you, we're guilty of that. And right now, we need to get back to that. We need to look at it like we only have 20 days. Because truly, it's probably not going to happen.
Create your own slots. Activity focused. Okay.
Amazon can take them away at any time, guys.
My goodness. And don't be surprised if they do. The closer we get to Q4, all of a sudden you'll start seeing, I've got 400 slots. Well, now I only have 100. And that's okay. There's a reason for that. But yeah.
But let's not take this for granted right now. And exactly, like, there's days we upload 0. Like,
yeah. And also, just because you have the slots doesn't mean you just have to, like, I'm sure, I don't want to step on anybody's toes or anything, but you don't want to just throw crap up to throw it up. Like.
Totally.
I don't know. I don't want to step on any toes, so I'm just going to leave it that right there.
I mean, when you're starting out, you
quality.
Need to, yeah. Totally.
And simple sells. Like, quality doesn't necessarily have to be this elaborate design. Like, simple does very well, but you
got to get the research in. And that's where we need to focus now. Like, that's where we're finally, I was so focused on like design and learning all that for so long that I don't feel we focused enough on research. And it was very cool. Matt Cartlett was talking about, and he has an amazing service, a design service, but he was talking about, that's his thing, is like research. That's my next step. Like, I really need to get serious. Like, it is what it is, but I know that I can. And like, it's almost comforting. If you are not doing well or as well as you want, and your shortcomings, that should comfort you. Cause I know I can improve. Like, if you if you really look at what you're doing, you're like, I'm doing everything right, and you're still not doing good,
reevaluate, because you're not.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's the thing. And so for me, like, I look at it and I'm like, I know I can look and I know where I'm falling short, and I just need to work on those areas, so.
And I mean, I'll tell you straight up too, my biggest shortfall in merch is definitely research. I try and I go in with good intentions, and I really have to buckle down and just like grin my teeth and bear it literally some days, because that is where I'm lacking. And I know once I do come up with a decent plan that I can do without gritting my teeth and bearing it, it's going to change the game. But right now I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people are, and I think that's where in the communities, people like want to know, hey, are you hiding the secrets? I can tell you right now, you guys, we were in the mastermind. People are not hiding secrets. We are all trying to figure it out how to get to
But
that.
how nice would it be if there was the secret? Like, if you could crack the code, it would be so nice. But there is no code.
It is. I'm like, son, we're gonna figure. We have to crack the code.
We're all here. We all are crushing it. Somebody's got the answer. If we take everything, you know, like Captain Planet, everybody had their little rings. We put it all together, and boom. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. You know, it's the hard work. It's those little. You know, truly what it is. It's the little 1%ers. It's those 1% activities that truly make a difference, and they just layer on top of each other, and you just keep going. And you know, the longer
building that foundation.
Absolutely, you just continue to build that foundation. And again, it's so early. The longer you're in it, the better. So the least that you can be behind right now, I guess, is whatever 2.5 years. And there's other things that you can do to make up for that time.
But even that, you know, I mean, all of it matters, regardless of when you got in or didn't, because, you know, the things that we learn in tier 10 and 25 and 100 and 500, whether you started in 2015 or you started yesterday, you know, those are the bricks that we're laying down that will really come to show us how well we are doing next year. It's the foundation. It's building those bricks.
Yeah.
And the activity, mastering the mundane.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do it. Like, you have to go through it. People want shortcuts. There's not shortcuts.
There isn't. And honestly, even if you only have 10 slots, you still have just as much an opportunity to do well on this platform as somebody in the 100,000 tier. I know, you know, yeah, there's a numbers game and everything, but there is enough success for all of us. And I think people get discouraged and they don't believe that. And yet, you know, talking about cliche as well, that's so no, there's some honest truth to that. There is enough. You just have to be willing to improve, learn, and grow as you can. Get connected in these groups, whether they're online or in person. Make the goals for yourself. Don't compare. Comparison will kill your drive every time. It will.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
It really is.
Something, but I mean, I think that this could really be a good thing. I think that 90-day run is a good thing, and I really hope that people take that in. We will post it here. We will post it in the co-ed, the co-ed page. We'll also post it in the Girl Boss page if you're not qualified for that page.
I'm accepting the challenge myself because I need that. I need to make myself. I need to stay activity focused. I need to master the mundane. You know, and this is a very attainable goal. 90 days. Stick with it. See what happens.
Talk about this. I want people to. I want to see screenshots. I want us to. We'll get this together as fast as we can. Yeah. And I think it needs to be something that you and I continue to talk about each week, so that
absolutely.
It keeps other people on pace. They can show their screenshots. Keep people in the mix, because that's a form of accountability as well. I think that can be really good.
And we're all growing together, and we can build one another up. We can help, because we all have the same, we all want to do well on merch. That's why we're here. That's why we're watching the lives. That's why we're having the lives, because we want this to work for the community. Totally. I think this is an incredible idea, and I love it. I'm so excited about this chat.
Figure out which admin's going to put it together.
Glitter bombs, y'all. Glitter bombs. It's just raining glitter.
All right, I hope that next time, and it's going to be Tuesday, we'll do Tuesday night, because I know we missed it. There's lots going on. We'll do Tuesday night, so we'll come back at you guys at Tuesday night. Hopefully we'll have that document by then, and hopefully behind me will be cleaned up. I'm telling you, we've been going really, really hard at trying to move into this house, so it's been crazy. But hopefully I have a little bit more of a nice background. If not, I'm just going to I have a background. I'll just drop that thing, and I'll just put
Throw up a sheet.
I have cool ones. I have two different ones. I have a colorful brick one, and I have a white, pretty brick one. So
I need to get a prettier one.
Yes, no, it's fine, but you guys will know. I mean, clearly, obviously, I don't care. So you guys will know if there's a mess behind me, then I'll have my pretty drop behind me, because there's a disaster going on. Oh my gosh. So, anyways, all right, girl. Well, I'm glad that we were able to hop on. Thank you for everybody for joining us. I'm excited for this 90-day run. It's going to be good. We're going to rock this stuff.
Yeah, and let us know if you're interested in what you hope to see in 90 days, because I really hope you guys all take the challenge, regardless of where you are, whether you're new or veteran. Let's
So
go. Let's go. 90 days.
What's a 90 run put us at? So that's July, August, September, October. That's
right before Q4.
No, that's good. So if we're pumping out activity right before Q4, that will freaking rocket launch. So 90 days, yeah. I love it. Let's commit. Let's get it done. And yeah, we'll work up a
and there it is. Jacob's hashtag together we all win.
Love it.
Glitter bomb from Jacob.
Great job, JT. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for hopping on kind of last minute on a Sunday, whatever. And we will see each other back here on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye,
Great
everybody.
to see you again. Bye.
Bye.